that was a trade that I was looking for. That would have been a pretty banger. But at the same time, I was looking for a resistance that could have occurred at the single print, which it did, and it did very, very well. And as of now, it looks like it's getting pretty cooked. And if I'm to like delete whatever bullshit I have on my chart real quick, I'm gonna show you real quick why this resistance matters a lot and why this might be stalemating the idea of a breakout that we had, the idea that we could just go to 85K in the next week. That is probably likely going to take some while. Apparently, the setup that looks pretty decent for now is that we have built up some liquidity around these lows. We have a pretty nice FVG that is sitting just below these lows, and we also do have a FVG that is sitting just into the pump we are doing. And this is like Monday lows and highs forming, so it's likely that we form a high into Monday, and by Tuesday Asia session or Tuesday New York session, we could like chop a little, and then we could take that high, and then what would we would do is probably print a lower high, as we're not really breaking higher, and then we could go and sweep this FVG for a lower high, and that setup could somewhat look something like this. You go for like a trade for a short into the FVG, and we could probably build up some quality lows, like higher lows. And I wouldn't recommend taking these trades right away. I would obviously recommend to take these right when there is a trigger. And the way the trigger looks like for a short, especially if you're trading a short into an FEG, there's only two scenarios that you can actually trade. Let me just give you a real quick idea of how that could occur. Let's just say this is an FEG, right? And what we're basically doing right now is we're like rotating back into the FEG, and this is supposed to be like our short PY now. And what could likely happen is that we keep grinding into this FVG, and as you can see, there's like multiple lows that keep forming that like support the trend, the bullish trend. And apparently, at some pivot, they start to stale, and after stalling a little, what happens is that they start to break down. That is going to be your trigger on the very lower time frame if you're looking for a scalp. Because whenever an initial move happens, a trend is supposed to change. It forms an extreme POI, and that extreme POI could be the overblock of that grind move up, or that could be the extreme of the FVG that led to the move up, right? And what could happen is we're likely to rotate because of that weakness, and you can recognize that weakness very well, by the way. And when you do recognize that weakness, you can just trigger a short right there, and you can put your stops maybe at the prior high if the highs are like barely stopped. If you know what I mean, like if there's like barely a distance, like it could wake you out in like one candle, then I don't recommend putting your stops just around these highs. I recommend going for like a significant high that could change the trend or alter whatever lower time frame PA you have, and probably aim for the TP around the extreme PI. And after that, what we are going to look for is we're going to look in case we break down that higher low structure that we are currently forming. That would be this low right here. If we this would be the low, and if we come back into that low, and if we start to stall into that low, and you recognize that okay, there is like a decent higher low structure that could form here, you go back to longs, you choose longs, and then you just let the trend trade further higher. That could be the idea. But the other trigger would be if none of this happens. Let me just delete whatever is going on right here. And wait. None of this happens, and what really happens is that we keep trending higher. We form a like a spike into the high, and then we start to stall a bit, and then we like spike the high again. And what happens afterward is there is significant loss of strength after that spike of high, and that looks something exactly like this here right here. What that looks like is that looks like a significant loss in strength. And after that loss in strength, there is actual weakness that you can recognize that looks somewhat like a curvature trend down. And that's just a series of lower highs and lower lows. And if you're able to recognize something like that, what you gotta do is you gotta just like ape on the short again, brother. And you can probably put your stops on the spike that has occurred now, and then you go for the TP of the most recent POI. You don't want to go all the way down to like some prior POI. You want to first go for the first trouble area most of the time. That is rule number one. And from there, we're gonna see how that develops, and then we're gonna take the trade on from there. So that is how I would be looking to trigger the short right around here. And let me clear up my chart real quick. And deleting this and deleting a bunch more. Cleaning the chart because I don't like when my charts are like pretty messy and dirty. And just going to the lower time frame for more triggers. By the way, if price does come in here and you do see like that after sweeping this FEG, you do see that okay, we are gaining some strength into this FEG right here. That would be a pretty easy long because we are still above and around value area high. So I wouldn't say it's really accepted into value area high unless and until we actually start to break down this higher low or around here. And the way we actually break down is it would be very recognizable as well. It's all just fractal. It's some discretionary, but it's always all fractal. So it's gonna look like this, just weakness that you see a series of lower lows and lower highs, which is very recognizable. Just slow grind, but reverse is how you're gonna recognize weakness. And if you do see that, just get out of your longs. And how that will end up, it will end up as a rotation all the way down to the value area low. And the way the trade would develop would be you just short into the breakdown and you go all the way for the value area low. That is how that trade could develop. Let's see if we get a trade right now. Let's see if that could possibly happen. Uh, I was just taking a look at the people that are short, and in trade. Like most of the people, like it's just two people that type their positions. I'm assuming like everybody else is what like sidelined at the moment. If you're not, do type it in the chat. If you are actually sidelined, do type that in the chat as well. Let me create a poll real quick. Positions. I'm gonna take a poll real quick, and you can just like type into the poll. Okay, I just made a poll for people that aren't gonna type, just vote, and I'm gonna take a look at the vote real quick. Everybody is sidelined. That is crazy. Too. There is a lot of people that are sidelined. Okay, I get it. That is too many people that are sidelined. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Don't worry. It happens. All right, there is almost 70% of the people that are sidelined at the moment. You know, when you're sidelined, you're losing money to inflation, so you don't want to be sidelined at all. You gotta be better at positioning, brother. You gotta like if you don't if you're not able to scalp heavily, if you're not able to like just get into positions every day, just look out for rotations. That's all I'll recommend you. Honestly, what you can do, just go to the 30-minute or the hourly time frame and just play rotations. Let me show you real quick. Because if you like stay sidelined all the time, because this is not a position where I would say being sidelined is pretty profitable for you. Because let me just show you real quick. Let's just map out the range to the current the volume profile to the current PA, and the value area stays the same. It's pretty much stayed the same the entire rate of this range. And since the start of February, we have been just chopping, and it's been almost more than 3 months. And now we are just at a level we're escaping that range right here. You could be in a much better position if you just understood that okay, there this entire price section, this entire range has just been nothing but rotations, and if you just short the highs of the rotations with a wider stop and just long the lows of the rotations with a wider stop, you could have done much better than having relied on breakouts. And when we might actually break out, if everybody's like sideline, if there's like 68 to like 70% people that are sidelined just right here, there could be way more people that are sidelined out there, right? So this is a market of like millions of people, right? So there's a lot of people that are I'm assuming like from our polls it's 70%, maybe it's like 50% of the people that are sidelined. That is exactly why we're not moving, because a lot of people are not in positions. We got to be like when there's like more than 50% of the people into some positions, that is when the market is moving. So I'm assuming like 60 to 70% of the people are still sidelined. The remaining are smart positioning. Either you can short the moment we get back into the value area high, you get a short trigger right here, all the way down to maybe this FEG fill first, and then all the way down to like this POC. That could be like a short trigger. But since we are not moving to the value very high at the moment, the only best bet that we have for a short is that we form a lower high right here. We first form a lower high, then we look for a trigger, and then we see if it breaks down. That would be something for the people that are looking short, because as of now, if I just hide everything that is going on here, this is a pretty nice uptrend. There's a significant flush that has happened in the market after months and months of chopping and trending, and then we have finally put in low, and from that low on there on we have just been forming higher lows and higher lows, and it's just been a series of continuous and multiple higher lows. It hasn't really broken down at all. So if you're continuing that and you're continuing that above the value very high, I highly recommend you do not go for just blindly, shorting everything. Just wait for these specific triggers. That is exactly why I explained those triggers for people to not just short blindly, because this is a market for the uptrend, and if you just get into longs, you're gonna be banking a lot. So if you really want to get into a short, you gotta wait out for those like triggers. If you don't wait out for those triggers, you're gonna get very quick, because then you're gonna short here, then maybe price goes up here, you're gonna short here again, maybe price goes up here, you're gonna short here again, maybe price is like 85K, you're gonna short here again. And by the time you realize you've been wrong shorting, you're gonna realize, oh, I fucked up this entire trend. I could have just longed right here and could have like banked a lot of money by the time price is here. So you want to look out for just those very specific triggers to just get into position. And if that doesn't happen, you just a bond with the trade and just let it run. That is exactly why I'm gonna go to the lower time frame real quick. Let me just adjust my chart real quick and see if we could get a position, because New York has sent us a little higher. And let's just go to the lower time frames. Oh, this is just stopping. I swear, like anytime I do a stream, it just does not move anymore. I swear, this is something that I've recognized. There's something wrong with my timings with the stream. It's like I think I started the stream somewhere around here, and we're just gonna be here. We're gonna be here like for another hour probably. We're news PA. What news was it? I haven't like checked, by the way. I usually check if there's any like CPI or FOMC, but apparently because of the war situation as well, it's you could say that there are some inflections. My future for ending the war. Okay. Yeah, you could say that, like, because of the war situation, there has been a lot of irregularities, but that does not mean that price is not fractal. Price is literally doing what AMT rules tell us to. It is literally just like rotating from value area low to value area high, and it's just stalling over value area high. That is if you draw out a volume profile and you draw out the value area high and value area low, what went on is that we bounced from value area low to value area high, and now we are using that value area high as support. That usually indicates for higher, right? That is exactly why the only two times you want to short actually is when you look for those two triggers that I just explained. I hope somebody's recording this, by the way, because I am not. And if you are, do DM me about it, or do DM fix us about it, and we'll put the recording up. And yeah, going to the lower time frame, I don't really see a trade, so we're gonna go to. Oh, actually, wait. I might see a trade. I might see a trade. Okay, this is interesting. Let me take this out real quick. This looks distributive, but this is not like the way it looks distributive is like high, high, and breakdown, breakdown. And what's gonna happen is like we're probably gonna run back into the FEG, and then we're gonna go back to the bigger FEG that is like the 15-minute FEG. That could be the ideal scenario right here. We could get a trade, like long setup right here. If we go back to the 1 minute chart real quick, that would be a long setup for a trend leading up to a short PI right here. I would be watching out for that, so I'm gonna just set an alert for me myself. We've just set an alert, and we're gonna go to the alts real quick. And for the alts, I have like shared for the alts. These were the alts that we were looking for in the last stream. If you guys have any more alts you want me to check out, just type it in the chat, by the way. I'm watching the chat actively, and these were these alts above right here, written right here, is like Dodge, ETH, and Link. These alts are the ones that are in accumulative phase, and they might be pumping for much higher. Like, let me explain what an accumulative phase is. It's just a phase where prices started to like trend down very aggressively, and then the trend down starts to stall. And when it starts to stall, it starts to like chop. But that is not where the accumulation is observed. The accumulation is observed when the aggressive trend down is chopping, but when it's actually like starting to look more bullish, and the way it looks actually looks bullish is that the momentum leads for the price to be a little higher every other day. So it looks like a slow grind, a curvature up. This is what it looks like. This is an accumulative phase. Of, and the two things that trigger this is an aggressive trend down, like this, and then a very slowed accumulation. And from that accumulation, there is acceleration. That is basically what's going on mechanically within a rotation. And these coins, like Link, then there is like Dodge, then there is like Ethereum. They will look pretty good. For Hype and XPO and Hype are one of those coins that are like leading that sort of change. So you would definitely want them on your chart. Like Peep also, I think I'm gonna put up like Peep here as well. I'm gonna like Peep here as well with my very fucked up writing on the pen. Okay, there we go. And we're gonna go to some charts that are recommended in the chart. AVEX, not been some time since I've checked it out. AVEX also looks like it's in an accumulative phase, but it is still chopping in my opinion. It does not look as clean as Ethereum or XP or like Link. But it's like working, it's getting there. So what you can do is like you can just set alerts, and you want to usually set up alerts a little higher so you know that there is like volatility and the price on AVEX like escaped at certain level. So you want to put a little alert just a little above the price, maybe right around here. So you see, okay, there is some escape that's going on in the price. Because you want to trade the volatility, man. You want to trade the trend. You don't want to trade something that's slow. You want to trade something that's fast, that is already moving. Because when it's moving, it can move much faster. It can move much higher. That is basically where you get the better trades. You don't want to trade something that is just gonna chop or is chopping. It's because that chop might end tomorrow, or that chop might end like 2 or 3 months later. But for a coin that is moving, you know that the chop will end within the next 48 hours because that coin is moving. It's moving like crazy. It is like volatile. So you want to like set alerts a little higher on coins, and when they're actually moving and they're trending, you want to trade that trend a little higher. There's a little more coins in the chat real quick. Let me just see them. There is AIoT USDT. I guess let me check this real quick. I'm not sure if they have that on. Oh, okay. What is going on here? I'm not sure what this coin is or what's going on, but I like the momentum. You don't, but one thing we don't want to do here as well, we don't want to see that this is stalling. We want to see this continue. This is one of those like momentum that I'm talking about. If a coin is moving, it's gonna continue move, right? If the moment like it starts to stall within the next 48 hours is when you realize, okay, we've calmed down and we might need to think of repositioning. CRO and Zen. Let me check CRO real quick. Right. CRO is trending down from what chart I look at. Let me take a look at Q-card area. I don't like CRO at all. This does not look like the accumulative phases that I talked about. This is still aggressively pushing down. You don't want to see an aggressive push down. You want to see some stalling and then you want to see some accumulation going on. It's still developing. You can set an alert on this. If every coin is gonna pump, then it might pump as well. I would only trade this coin if it like suddenly starts moving like crazy like this, and only then I would like actually start to like try to trade this because then it will move. Otherwise, this looks very slow. We don't want to trade that something that's slow. Then we got like Zen as well. Let me take a look at Zen real quick. Zen. Okay, there we go. Zen also does not look as good comparatively to the coins that we pointed out so far. And uh, somebody just shared a chart. Meta just shared a chart in the chat, and that's CRO. Honestly, the setup you just shared in the chat, I do not recommend you set limits, honestly. For a coin that's just trending down and down and down for weeks, and the coin we're talking about, basically, I'm gonna tell you some alpha real quick. Make sure to keep it with you, and I'm gonna share you why this is important. We'll go to the daily time frame, and the chart that this guy Mata just sent over in the chat is something like this. Oh my god, I have no idea why TradingView just did that. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Right. So you don't want to set a limit on a coin that is going down because this can go further down. It might not even stop. You don't want to bet on something that's slow. You want to bet on something that is fast. You want to bet on something that is already working. And when it stops working, you cash out. You don't want to bet on something that is not working at all. If you want fast money, you don't want to like trade something that is slow. You want to trade something that is fast. And apparently, setting limits on coins. I mean, you might get a good entry. Like you might just bottom ticket. It could possibly happen. But does that really matter? Because you don't know how long that bottom tick and that trade could play out. It could take months and months, and in the meantime, your money just stuck in that position for weeks. So if you really want to manage it like quick, and then you want to make it work quick, what you gotta do is you gotta manage those positions like very, very fast. And the way you do that is you just trade something that's already moving, something that is already fast. And then when it starts to like slow down and then you see actual weakness, you wanna just cash out. You wanna just end the trade right there. Is how you wanna take the trade, especially on alts. Easy Yang said Tao. Let's just see what Tao is doing. Tao is apparently doing pretty good. That is surprising. Actually, I'm on the daily chart. Let me go to the 4 hour. Tau is good. Tau is doing good. I would just need some momentum to like kick in, and then you can like take that. Somebody said Sui. Sui. Let's just take a look at Sui real quick. Sui is still chopping, but it is doing as good as Ethereum and XPL. So we're gonna add Sui to this list right here. There we go. Uh, I'm JN said, do you usually use SMR with QM? And if the answer is yes, how do you do it? I have no idea. Like SMR, what's that? Quasimodo? I didn't get your question, brother. No, Rave is good for scalping. Let me just take a look at Rave. Oh, oh, oh. Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. I know, right? I know. Why did nobody tell me about this before? This is something you can still trade, honestly. This is a pretty nice grind up. Like you can see multiple series of like higher lows and higher lows. And then you can just like actually if you just hop on to something like this right now, it would actually still work. That is how fast money is made on coins that are actually still moving at the moment. And then, but the thing about these is like you want to make sure you're like risk free as well, because it might boom, it might just do that, right? So that's something you want to watch out for as well. But this is something that will work. That will just work. Because it's not you trading it, it's the market, and it's the market doing its job. You're just, as a bystander, you're just making money off of watching what others are doing on the market. That's good. This is an extreme category. This is the type of coins that will make you the most money, and we're gonna just put Rave there. So we want to make a list of coins that move like Rave. We want to trade coins that move like Rave. This is very important. I would actually trade such alts on 15 seconds. It looks pretty nice. It looks pretty decent actually. It does, like this is a lot of like this is big moves. This is not something that you would cut you in on fees. If it was like 1% count moves, then not. But if even if you go to the 15-second chart, you can get like extremely good positions just trading the higher lows. Because like 4% a move for what, like 30 minutes of work. So that is very important. Ondo. Let's just take a look at Ondo. Somebody should type in the chat. For our uh, Ondo is still chopping. We're gonna. It does not even look like accumulation. It looks more like it's going down right now. Again, we need strength. We need strength like Rave right here. Going back to the BDC chart, our own chart. Oh, let me go slow. There is actually strength in the market. That is very good. How to scan alts? Any tips? The way you can scan alts like you use scanners or you just go to Twitter and you follow a bunch of people that are talking about certain alts, and whatever alt is more popular or volatile, you can even check like top gainers and top losers. You want to just look for coins that are moving volatile. Like volatility equates liquidity, and liquidity could most likely equate something that would lead to become a top gainer. So that is important. Oh, by the way, the way this is moving, we're gonna fill this up. We should just bump and go for our lower high. If anybody isn't along from here, that is a pretty good position, by the way. Apparently, like 18 of us here, like still 68% of us are like sideline. Okay, good to know. I would take a position right here, but it's a little like risky, so I would just let it wait out. Any questions so far, guys? Do you have any questions? Let me go to the lower time frame real quick. Going to the lower time frame and see how we're doing. If I were to like just ape onto like a very like risky call, I would like try to like look for longs here and longs like this and some sort of longs into the short PI, and the moment like it gets rejected or like starts to break down, I'd exit that trade and then I start to look for like shorts. Only on the condition that it actually starts to break down, because if it does not, then that means we're going way higher. Because this is an extreme POI. Like this is very important. If we manage to flip like 72 800, I'm pretty sure we're going way higher. So that is something you got to keep in mind. Thoughts on SPX 500? Um, I had this chart for a while now. We were looking for shorts from this level to this POI right here. but I did not keep update, and apparently we have broken that low. And let me just take a look at this right here. We are moving higher, and this does not look bad at all. Might be the reason. Oh, there's a gap. Oh, this is understandable. I would honestly just recommend SPX for just scalping. Um, Speaking of screeners, there's a few screeners around that pretty cool. Going Sniffer is good. There's a few more. I'll share those in the chat room later. The learner asked for Pengu and Fat. Pengu and Fat. We can. What do you think of Tesla? We'll get back to Tesla real quick. Pengu, there's the T, and we have Fat as well. There we go, Pengu. Same structure. I don't mind the structure. There is some strength, but it does not look like it is a lot of strength. But it is at a very crucial pivot, like a higher low. So I would be interested into seeing it move. The moment it moves long, you go long, and then wherever it stalls, you get out of the longs. It's a when you're gonna use quarterly VWAP, weekly VWAP, and all other VWAPs. I actually use anchored VWAP a lot. I just don't use quarterly VWAP or weekly or daily because I feel like that's too much for me. If I'm like trading like a trend, I wouldn't need like volume to actually determine if we're going somewhere. So what I just do is I just trade the price action alone because price action in trend is extremely fractal comparatively to a range. Because if you go to um, a range price action is not as fractal as a trend price action, and that is very true. Because if you take a look at the range, there's a lot of patterns that, keeping in mind that price is fractal and context varies on those fractals. So knowing that like price is fractal ranges, a lot of the time they do not mean as much comparatively to a trend. So you don't really need like volume profiles when you're trading a trend. But I do use anchor VWAPs when I want to just like understand where the value area low or the value area high could be of that specific trend. Because I only draw VWAPs on a trend. I don't draw them while it's ranging because you have the volume profile for that. There was one more question. How do you place your stop loss when it's moving very fast? I mean, like, what about the deviation or the liquidity grab in the ascent? That is a good question. That is a very good question. So something that you gotta be aware of if you're trading like BTC or Ethereum, and I'm just gonna categorize these two as one coin, and I'm gonna put every alt on the other categories. There's just two categories, by the way, here. And so if you're trading a trend on BTC or Ethereum, and you have a very strong uptrend, what you're gonna do is you're gonna like just get on a long and put your stops on the prior lower high and then let it run. For altcoins, because what happens is that if it actually breaks down the low, what happens is that okay, there is a shift in trend. Now you're looking for short, especially in the major pairs, right? But on altcoins, what happens is that we are trending, and let's say you take a long right here, right? And you put your stops on the prior higher low. What happens like it sometimes like comes, sweeps, and then continues the trend. This is the type of bullshit that happens on altcoins a lot of times, especially in liquid pairs, because that is an immature market. There's a lot of liquidity to be swept before going higher, and this happens a lot on Forex as well, because that is way more mature. This is, I would say, like the major pairs, especially like BTC and Ethereum. And I've traded these for years and years, so I can say with a full heart that this is something that is very recognizable and something that you see very often happen on the altcoins and BTC and Ethereum. So if you're trading like BTC especially, just like put your stops on the prior low and then just like let it run. That's something that just like happens and then just turns out in your favor. Comparatively to altcoins, what could happen with sweeps and then it could go up. That's a difference that you will continue to notice the more screen time you have on the charts. Yep. Going back to the lower time frame real quick, let me take a look at the crypto chart real quick. Is anybody in a position at the moment? Indy shared the same position that I'm talking about. We are talking about like the moment we flip. By the way, hi Indy, how are you doing? We're talking about the same position. That is like if we flip this extreme FPG right here, this is also single print. The moment we flip, it's gonna be a very easy long, like much higher. And where did my long go? You could go, honestly, I would go for like an 85K, 86K, because that is the last range that we had, and I could show you guys real quick. So this right here, the moment we escape the last resistance that we have, and something that I explained in my prior streams was that discrepancy matters a lot, and what discrepancy is time related to the price support or resistance. So this is a very fresh resistance. This is barely a few weeks ago, but this is something that happened months and months ago. So there may not be sellers sitting at this level anymore. There may be like active sellers, but that is exactly why you gotta be more looking at the current market price, then you gotta be looking at the resistance. So the only resistance and the range that actually matters now is the one that is sitting above. So that is what we are gonna go for. Ramen said, Chini, why didn't you ape the grindy low hold on current market price? Let me see what you're talking about real quick, brother. Let me go to the lower time frame. The grindy low. I think you were talking about this low right here. Wait. I feel like you're talking about this low structure right here. This is a good long. I just do not like a lot of the times this is like 1 minute or 15 seconds. If I do ape into position, I can manage it pretty good. But like since this is a stream in the free section, I'm not sure if who or how like will trade that specific position the same way, and I don't want to like make people lose money at the moment. But that was a pretty good trade. Um, Indy said, I have the same trade idea you're talking about earlier right now, Shini. You posted something earlier as well. If you accept above this area should be right. It should, I agree. By the way, this is a very nice move. This is a very nice trend. It could go way higher. This is trend. I like this. That's what I was replying to Ramen. Like I could take this trade right here. I could even ape onto a trade right here, and I could manage it like better than anybody. But like, would that be? Let's just say it's a random guy that just joined the stream or somebody that's new. Would they be able to like manage the trade the way I am, or even if I explain it, maybe they're not able to like execute it the way, and maybe it does go like this and go higher. So that could lead up to a loss for having not understood the way I execute. So that's something that I was worried about. But if I do see like actually generally a good setup, I always share that on my stream. Nofi, can you show how you mark a 5K range? 85K range. Let me go to the 85K range. I think we're talking about this one. I just started the volume profile from where the exhaustion happened, from this pivot all the way to like here. Uh, Even if you like extend it all the way to here where the breakdown happened, it's pretty much the same range. This is how I like marked out the prior range. Oh, this is a pretty nice trend. I like this. Is anybody in a position now? Let me create a poll real quick. Position. Let me create a poll. You guys can like answer in the poll, short and sideline. Actually, let me create another poll. Guys, take a look at the chat and then just start voting. Let me create another poll for you guys. Where's the belly area? No. 6K. Okay, I just created another poll. Go to the chat section of this live stream and then put up your votes in the polls, guys. I want to see like what we are collectively expecting. A lot of people are still sidelined, but there's more people that are long right now. Okay, got it. For bias, a lot of people are expecting 85K. All right. Also, this is the type of structure if you're grinding, you can just like ape onto a trade and like this grind right here is what Ramen is talking about. I would just like actually ape onto this trade, this type of stop, or maybe this higher low stop, and then I would just let it run higher. And whenever there's like a very strong rejection like this right here, I would probably like actually take some TPs, but this does not mean it's going to retrace all the way back. What I would wait for is that it comes into an FEG and then it starts to form a series of low gains. And on the second low, I would bet on a long again and I would let that run further much higher. That is basically how you execute on the lower time frame grind trades. Right. A lot of people are long, a lot of people are expecting a 5K and more are actually sidelined. That's okay. That's okay. You don't have to rush yourself into positions. But if you do see something like this, like actual grind or actual strength, I don't recommend you guys to not ape on it. Let's take a look at our crypto chart real quick. Uh, nice. Ryuk just posted a pretty nice chart. What else? What other positions we have? Bit Zero I posted a nice chart. Everybody's like expecting like nice trades. Oh, Kenzo posted a very good trade. That is a very nice trade. A BTC long, that is pretty good. Oh, I can just show my like entire screen. Wait, let me show. Oh, this looks like a tower. Yeah, but that's it for like the current positioning at the moment. And the more you see this structure right here, this grind, this TVAP structure, the more you want to take like long trades and the more it will work as well. If you see this sort of structure here again, you can just like ape onto that structure right here. And as long as this keeps happening, you just continue to take more and more and more and more trades. If this does not happen and it starts to stall and there's stop and there's like some bullshit PA, you can just like start TP. This is basically just the code that I can give. Like it's pretty free. You look at the trade, you see the trade, you take it, and it's just gonna work. It's that easy, trust me. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today's stream.